Hello and welcome back for more naval action. Following on last Tuesday's video where we talked about hunting LGVs for profit and a bit of XP early game, we are gonna take a look at the next level to increase your money. I'm not gonna be talking specific trades or anything, but a tool of the trade, and that is the Indiaman. Now the Indiaman before me is a painted ship, that's why it's going to look a bit different, but the biggest class of trade ship and the ship with the biggest hold you can get is the Indiaman. As standard, it comes with a 4,000 hold, so you can haul quite a bit of cargo around. Now once you got past the point of using your capture trade breaks and everything else and start to feel like you might need a bit more capacity to actually do your trade runs, it's worth getting the Indiaman. Now the Indiaman on PvE, you need somebody to buy it from or craft it for you or craft it yourself. If you're on PvP, you may even get lucky and take it from another player. This is the tips in this video is mainly going to be PvE focused, as are most of mine, especially when it comes to setting it up. The Indiaman as such, you want to go to get around 3 or 4 of them, especially for PvE uses. A decent fleet of 3 can hold 12,800 weight, or if you go 4 of them, you can hold 16,000. So it's quite a lot, especially with the changes to the trade item weights. If we just take a look at the Indiaman itself, I have a few different here I want to show you. The basic one you're going to get out there is a fur build, and these are the ones you're going to find for sale for like 200 and 300,000, both in Santo Domingo where we are now, or especially Lanavas. And these are ships that you'll more or less be able to get from any player as well with a decent shipyard. So that's the numbers. With the Indiaman, for trading, you don't want to worry too much about the numbers except for speed. And that also goes into what kind of upgrades you want to put on it. You want speed upgrades. I'll show you in a minute. This is the basic Indiaman. This is going to be your main hauler. Get a few of these and just ask around you, get a few players to do them for you. Now one thing to notice, if you just look at the map, the Indiaman is a deep draft. So you kind of go into ports like in the Bahamas and stuff like that, which are shallow ports. There you'll need the trade breaks and stuff still. But if you're doing deep water port trading, go for the Indiaman. Now, if you have the option, or later down the line, you can get your hand on some New England fur. You can squeeze a bit more speed out of your Indiamans. And that also goes back to what kind of upgrades you want to put on it. Anything that gives you speed is just going to cut down the travel time of your fleet as such. So stuff like cutting sails, bow-wind refit, improved sextant, navy hull, copper plating. I know several of them been nerfed recently, but it's still the speed upgrades I'm going for here. Same when you unlock books on the ship, get anything that gives you an increase to your general speed. These are a bit more expensive to come by, and there's one thing to note. If we bring up the Indiaman from before and just find it in my pen, that one. If you compare these two side by side for the speed, you'll see the upgraded golden one goes 13.64, where the other one goes 11.82. No upgrades, no books on it. Now, if you put these two in, set our Indiaman, the golden Indiaman, as our main, and put the second one into our fleet, you won't really notice the upgrade if you just got this one, because your overall fleet speed is based on the slowest ship. So when you get 3 Indiamen together to use as a trade fleet, or 4 for that matter if you're going without sextant, make sure they're as even as speed as possible, because you're not going to notice the difference just because your main ship is faster. It's still going to be based on the other ships in your fleet. So get them at a level where they're more or less similar, if possible for you. You're just gonna actually maximize what you get out of upgrading one or several ships. Hope that makes sense. Anyway, these are your trade ships. I'm not gonna go out and show you that much. I'm just gonna show you the hold of them. This one got 4,800 with trade perks I'm using. Use fleet control 1, so I can have 3 ships in my fleet. Hold optimization gives 20 more % hold speeds on the main ship only. Sextant, so I know where I am, and I always go with prepared, so if I get into a fight after doing a trade run, I forgot to change my perks around, I'll still go in guns loaded. And then I use overseer because the time I'm spending either AFK or just trading as something secondary while I'm maybe playing or whatever I'm doing, as the trade run goes on, I'm still stacking up my labor hours. To craft Indiamen, if you're wondering how to do that, you need a shipyard level 2. And what you see here, Indiaman, wink. You need crafting level 2, you need shipyard level 2, take 356 labor hours, bit of provision, bit of reals, not much, and again, in terms of resources, it doesn't take much either. They're fairly cheap to get a hold of, either to get the materials yourself or to find something to find them from. Now, Indiamen as such are generally a thing that are slowly I'm struggling a bit with my throat today. Anyway, what I was trying to say is the Indiaman is generally a ship that you'll very slowly, very, very slowly unlock knowledge slots on. But there's ways around it. Last Tuesday, we took out the surprise and hunted down LGVs for both profit and a bit of XP. You can do the same thing in an Indiaman. Now what you want to do there is not use your fur trader, because it's just going to give you a bit of a disadvantage. What you can do instead is build a very good one. Like, when you've hunted enough LGVs, you'll be starting to stack up seasoned wood or even rare woods and stuff like that. What you can do is go in and find a decent setup. This is an expensive setup just because I have surplus. But if you go with something like seasoned live oak, white oak, or go seasoned teak, or whatever your fancy is, however you want to go down the meta tree, but build yourself a ship that's designed for war. Then with your upgrades on it, get some bit more hit points, bit more thickness on the side, maybe a bit more penetration or reduction in reload, and then you can actually load it up with 32 panic carronades and 24 panic carronades and 68 in the stern. Then you can take out your Indiaman and start using that instead of your surprise or whatever 5th rate you were using, 6th or 5th rate you were using to hunt LGVs. This way you'll still make money, you'll be able to capture more loot before you have to go into port and hand it back over, and you don't have to have a fleet ship with you to store everything in, and you'll slowly start to unlock books on your Indiaman, which again in turn means you can unlock more slots on your trade ships to put speed perks on, or speed knowledge slots. So get yourself a few good traders. When you get the surplus of either woods or money, consider getting yourself a wall build Indiaman and go out there, load it up with carronades and whatever upgrades you feel like, and use that as a trader hunter. It's a great way to unlock knowledge slots on your Indiaman and thereby packing up just a tiny bit more speed into your trade fleet, thereby making your money roll a bit faster. So that was just a quick talk about the Indiaman. I know most of it is mainly aimed at PvE play, because you don't want to go out unarmed when you go out doing trade runs and stuff like that on the PvP server. You generally want an escort with you. So this is mainly PvE stuff. I'm not going to go into the details of how to fight with an Indiaman once you're grinding XP on it, because you saw the surprise video. If you can do it in a surprise, you can definitely do it in an Indiaman. Bit slower, a bit more of a sluggish boat to handle in a fight, but she'll hold up her own compared to other traders, and you can even take on other 5th and 4th rates if you know what you're doing. So, just to conclude, get yourself a few further built Indiamen for a trade fleet. Remember that your overall speed is based on the lowest ship in your fleet. And when you get the money and the resource to it, build yourself a war or an Indiaman built for war, and go out there and use that to grind up the XP on your Indiaman to get a bit more speed on your trade fleet. Because just getting XP by sailing from A to B and back again, it's gonna take ages to unlock anything on. Hope you enjoyed this bit of tip and a quick look at the Indiaman. We'll be back later this week. And just before we round off this video, past 600 subscribers, I am absolutely stoked about it. I love all the support, all the comments, and just the interaction with my videos. I'm really humbled by it. So thank you all very much for subscribing and sticking with me as we roll on through naval action. Until next time, Dave.